Now let us compare the standard vapor compression refrigeration system and the reversed Carnot refrigeration system. We already say that the reversed Carnot refrigeration system is the ideal cycle for refrigeration, and between the same temperature limits, the COP of the reversed Carnot cycle is maximum than any other cycle working between the same temperature limits. So suppose this is the standard vapor compression refrigeration system. We have the process 1 to 2, 2 to 3 heat rejection, 3 to 4 throttling, 4 to 1 heat addition or heat absorption. And we can say, let us say that the temperatures are, let us say the condenser temperature at this T3 will be, let us say, TC, and the temperature at this point is, let us say the temperature here is TE. Let us say the temperature here is TE. Now if I draw the Carnot, reversed Carnot cycle working between the same temperature limit TC and TE, so the reversed Carnot cycle will be like this. It is a rectangle, we know. So if I make this as extending this like this, suppose this point is 2 double dash, and if a straight vertical line to represent the adiabatic expansion, reversible adiabatic expansion. So suppose this point is 4 dash. This point is 4 dash, right? So if I say, we will write here that standard vapor compression refrigeration system is 1, 2, 2 dash, 3, 4. 1, 2, 2 dash, 3, 4. This is the standard vapor compression refrigeration system. And if we talk about what is the reversed Carnot cycle, reversed Carnot cycle is 1, 2 double dash, 2 dash, 3, 4 dash, this rectangle. So this is 1, 2 double dash, 2 dash, 3, 4 dash, 1, right? So this is the reversed Carnot cycle. So we have to compare between them, and we can say that because of the irreversibility, see this Carnot cycle, okay, this 3 to 4 I represent it as a dotted line just to differentiate between reversed Carnot cycle and VCRS. It is obviously this 3 to 4 dash, this is a bold line because this process is a reversible process. But just to distinguish between, I can draw it in a dotted line just to have a distinguish between VCRS and the Carnot cycle. So we can say that because some of the irreversibilities are associated with the VCRS because of this throttling expansion and because of the other irreversibility associated with this heat exchange process, that is the constant pressure heat exchange process, the COP will be decreased. The COP of the VCRS will be less than the COP of the reverse Carnot cycle. We know this because of our basic understanding of the Carnot theorem. Now we have to prove it that the COP of the Carnot cycle is more here, and which is working between the temperature limits TC and TE. The COP of the Carnot cycle is more than the COP of the vapor compression refrigeration system. We have to prove this, right? Let us see how it will vary. This is just for your understanding only we are doing this, otherwise it is not needed at this point, but to make you more clear about the concept that what is the difference, what things vary when you modify the reversed Carnot refrigeration system into VCRS, what actual changes happen, we have to discuss it. Now if I write that for the Carnot cycle, right, it is reversed Carnot refrigeration cycle, but okay, we'll write for the Carnot cycle. First of all, let us calculate what is the refrigeration effect, right? What is the refrigeration effect? So for the Carnot cycle, the refrigeration effect will be equal to refrigeration effect will be equal to heat from the process 4 dash to 1. This is the process in the evaporator. So this will be the heat supply for the process 4 dash to 1, and this will be equal to integration of TDS because it is a reversible process from point 4 dash to 1, from point 4 dash to 1. So, and what is this temperature? This is evaporator temperature TE. This is evaporator temperature TE. So from here you can write that it is equal to TE is constant, so it can be taken out from the integration into S1 minus S4 dash into S1 minus S4 dash. This is the refrigeration effect of the reverse Carnot cycle. And what is this? This is the area under, and this is equal to area under TS diagram when projected on the entropy axis. So if I extend it like, let us say you extend all these points up to the entropy axis like this, right? And if I name it, let us say this is point C, this is point D, and this is point E. So what is the refrigeration effect for the reverse Carnot cycle? The refrigeration effect will be this area, this C4-1E, this area. This area is the refrigeration effect of reversed Carnot cycle, that is area C4-1E. This area is the refrigeration effect. If I show like this area with the hatched portion from the red marker, this complete area, this red marker lines are, this area is the refrigeration effect of the Carnot cycle. Now if we talk about for the vapor compression refrigeration system for VCRS cycle, if I find what is the refrigeration effect, it is equal to heat supplied for the process 4 to 1, right? For the process 4 to 1, from this point to this point, this is 4 to 1. So this will be equal to, this is how much? This is integration of TDS from point 4 to 1. This is entropy, this is evaporator temperature. So this will be equal to TE into S1 minus S4. TE into S1 minus S4. So what is this? This is the area under area under TDS or area under TS diagram when projected on entropy axis. So this is area, which area? The refrigeration effect of VCRS is this area, D41E, this area, right? D41E. This area is the your refrigeration effect of the vapor compression refrigeration system. So if I show this with the help of this blue marker, so this area is the refrigeration effect of vapor compression refrigeration system. So you can say that this complete area, this area is the refrigeration effect of Carnot cycle, this area is the refrigeration effect of the VCRS. So you can say that the refrigeration effect is reduced. So we can say there is the reduction in the refrigeration effect. There is a reduction in the refrigeration effect when you replace the isentropic expansion. When you replace this isentropic expansion with isenthalpic or throttling process, if you replace the adiabatic expansion with the throttling process, then there is a decrease in the refrigeration effect. and this decrease, how much is the decrease? This area is decreased. This area is decreased in the refrigeration effect, right? This much area. Let us say we name this area is A2. Let us say this area is A2, this, right? So we can write that A2 is the reduction in refrigeration effect when isentropic expansion, when your isentropic expansion is replaced with isenthalpic process or expansion. Isenthalpic expansion. So this is the reduction, and this loss in the refrigeration effect, this loss is known as the throttling loss. This loss is known as throttling loss. This loss is known as throttling loss. Throttling loss, right? So this area A2 is the throttling loss. So how much is the area A2? If we want to find out how much is the throttling loss, so if you say that the throttling loss is equal to how much? What is the refrigeration effect of Carnot cycle minus refrigeration effect of vapor compression refrigeration system. This is the throttling loss. So if I write here that how much is the refrigeration effect of Carnot cycle, if you write this one will be H1 minus H4 from the steady flow energy equation. If I neglect the changes in kinetic energy and potential energy 0, then refrigeration effect will be H1 minus H4. We know this. And what is the refrigeration effect in VCRS? This will be equal to H1 minus H4 dash. H1 minus H4 dash. And you know that H3 will be equal to H4 dash, because isenthalpic process, enthalpy is constant. It is a isenthalpic process. So during this process 4 this is 4 dash, this is 4, right? So H3 is equal to H4 because this process is a throttling process, isenthalpic process, enthalpy will remain constant, so H3 will be equal to H4. So from here this throttling loss can be written as H1 minus H4 dash minus H1 minus plus H3. So this will be equal to H3 minus H4 dash. This is the throttling loss. The difference of enthalpy of this point 3 and of this point 4 dash, this enthalpy is lost. This much refrigeration effect is lost because in the throttling process enthalpy at point 3 and enthalpy at point 4 is same. So this much amount of reduction is less. So this is this area A2, which is known as the throttling loss, right? So we can say that from here you can easily remember one thing, you can easily find out the one thing that this loss in the refrigeration effect, increases as the evaporator temperature decrease. If this evaporator temperature decreases, if this is decreased, then this loss will increase, because this will be a straight line, this will be go like this and this will be like this. Why this throttling process will go towards the right side? Because it is an irreversible process and there must be increase in the entropy. because for the irreversible process we know that entropy generation must be positive, so that's why the line will be tending towards right. So this gap will increase, this gap will increase. So we can say that it can be easily understood if you write here, that this loss in the refrigeration effect, this loss in the refrigeration effect will increase by decreasing evaporator temperature. And if you decrease the evaporator temperature, or if you increase condenser temperature, if you increase this condenser temperature, then again this loss will increase, right? So this you have to remember. So if you increase the condenser temperature and if you decrease the evaporator temperature, then this throttling loss will increase, right? Similarly, we can easily find out for the heat rejection process that how much is the heat rejected in the vapor compression system and in the reversed Carnot cycle. We will discuss it. We already see the refrigeration effect, the difference between the refrigeration effect of reversed Carnot refrigeration cycle and vapor compression, or you can say standard vapor compression refrigeration system. And we already discussed that we have some area, that is which we known as the throttling loss, that is H3 minus H4 dash, that is the throttling loss, and this area is the loss in the refrigeration effect. We already see that. Now let us move towards the heat addition, or you can say the heat rejection. Heat addition we already see. So if we talk about the heat rejection in the condenser for both Carnot refrigeration system and your standard vapor compression refrigeration system, we have to find what is the difference between the heat rejection rate. So let us first solve for heat rejection in Carnot cycle, or you can say reversed Carnot cycle. Heat rejection in reversed Carnot cycle. So we can say that what is the heat rejection? Heat rejection is the, you know that from this 2 double dash to 3, this is the heat rejection in the Carnot cycle, or you can say reversed Carnot cycle. So if I say that what is the heat rejection for the Carnot cycle, this is equal to how much? This is equal to heat rejection in the process 2 dash to 3. Heat rejection in this process 2 dash to 3, right? In the process 2 dash to 3. So the heat rejection in this reversed Carnot cycle is from this process 2 double dash to 3. So this is heat rejection in the process 2 double dash to 3. So this will be equal to integration of TdS. This we know because it is a reversible process from 2 double dash to 3, and there is a minus sign here. Why minus? Because this is a heat rejection, and heat rejection from the system is always taken as negative. So this will be equal to this we can write, this will be equal to Tc, that is the condenser temperature, because T is constant, it is an isothermal process, into this is S3 minus S2 double dash, S3 minus S2 double dash, S3 minus S2 double dash. So similarly, if we extend it, if we project it on the entropy axis like this, as we did for the refrigeration effect, I project it on this axis and we name it as C, D and E. So this Tc into S3 minus S2 double dash, this is the area under Ts diagram when it is projected on the entropy axis. So we can say that this will be equal to this area. this highlighted area, this shaded area, is the heat rejection in reversed Carnot cycle. So we can say that this is equal to area, which area 3 C E 2 double dash. This is 3 C E 2 double dash 3. This area, right? This area is the heat rejection in the Carnot cycle. Similarly, if you want to find what is the heat rejection in vapor compression refrigeration system, standard VCRS. So if I write what is the heat rejection in the VCRS, this will be equal to heat rejection in the process 2 to 3. This process is the isobaric heat rejection process, that is 2 to 3. That is 2 to 3, right? So this will be equal to minus of integration of TDS from 0.2 to 3. From 0.2 to 3. Now as you see from this diagram that temperature at 0.2 and temperature at 0.3 is not same. This is not a constant temperature process. This is constant pressure heat rejection process. This 2 to 3 process is the constant pressure heat rejection process. It is not a isothermal heat rejection process, just like in the reversed Carnot refrigeration system. So we cannot write it as T into S3 minus S2. We cannot write because temperature is not constant. So it is not coming out of the integration. But we know that what is the value of this? This is the area under TS diagram, area under TS diagram between 0.2 and 3 when projected on the entropy axis. So this area, this complete area will be the heat rejection in the vapor compression refrigeration system. Which area? 3 C E 2, right? This is 3 C E 2 3. This area is the heat rejection in the vapor compression refrigeration system. So if I draw here, so this area, this blue shaded area, this complete area is the heat rejection in standard vapor compression refrigeration system. So if you can see from the diagram, if you can see that the heat rejection in the vapor compression refrigeration system, heat rejection in the vapor compression refrigeration system is greater than heat rejection in Carnot cycle. It is more than that, right?